Man, feeling charged up. Just ate a bunch of salmon. Feeling fed. Feeling good. Um, Ready to get right into it today because got a lot to talk about. As always. This this chapter kind of came up in a convenient time in my life. Kind of going through some things right now in my personal life, and I feel like this poem kind of encapsulates. I say that every time. Encapsulate. This poem kind of vibes with what's going on in my life right now and the things I've been thinking about, and it's been really painful. But the universe is always on time, in my opinion. So, looking at chapter 3 of the Tao Te Ching, you know what it is. Let's just get right into it. So yeah, if you overesteem great men, people become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. Excuse me. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. Practice not doing, and everything will fall into place. Yeah, it's really good advice. I feel like there's a lot going on in life always. And, as we all know, it's easy to kind of try and get ahead of the ball, so to speak. When our problems, take us left, we're always trying to go left. And when our problems take us right, we're always trying to go right. But the more I kind of detach myself from, I guess, the world and other people, the more peace and clarity and resolution comes into my life. And there's times where I want to interact with people more and be more part of the world, but I think it's a flaw or a mistake for me to think that I'm not a part of the world. There's nothing I need to do to be more a part of it. Maybe I could be more social, but that doesn't mean that I'm not here. So I always have to remind myself, like, the only solution is to really wait for the solution to come, however it is. Sometimes, like small problems, the idea comes immediately. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes things move around and things get a lot easier. Sometimes you have to give up and come back and work on other things, and build your strength up or your resolve or your willpower, or even just like you need to get different things to accomplish different tasks, different tools. But all my problems have eventually worked themselves out. And not, well, I don't want to say all my problems, but most of the things that I worry the most about have worked themselves out with time. And the things that haven't, I'm patiently waiting for the time when they will, when the path is more clear, you know. Let me give you a great example. But before I do that, actually, let me preface this with the first couple lines again. Okay, so if you overesteem great men, people become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. All right. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless. The first thing that comes to my mind when I read that line is my relationship with my mother. My mother is what some would consider a functional alcoholic with strong narcissistic tendencies. Um, she's always been a tough person. She's had a tough life, but it has afforded her a lot of benefit. Um, and she's had a good life, but had to always fight for it. And now that she's raised kids, and I have a little sister, and she's approaching an age of leaving the nest, and my mother feels that her duties of motherhood are unending, and she's completely right. And we all know that moms are never gonna quit on us because that's what they're made to do. Now, if we're blessed, some of us don't have the best relationship with our mother, and a healthy mother loves unconditionally. Well, my mother is not healthy. Um, it's tough because I have so much reverence and respect for her, but her alcoholism gets in the way of how we interact. There isn't any time where I can talk to her and she's not either drunk, getting drunk, or not drunk but irritated because she hasn't like gotten to her drink. And her thing is like she thinks she's in control of it, but we've watched her health decline over like many years ever since I was a kid. And as a kid, I didn't see how bad her habits were because she was good at hiding them. And I think she was younger and had more energy and had more money, honestly, before my parents separated to, stay healthy but still keep her habit kind of in check. But she comes from a line of drinkers and people with addictive habits. And I don't think she has any intent of changing anytime soon. And that has cost myself and my little sister immense amount of trauma that reflects in my life every day, and the people that I meet, the women that I've dated, how I handle bad relationships, be it women I've dated or friends. Um, all of it comes back to my mother, right? Um, and that's a journey I think everyone needs to look into, is their childhood and how their parents are and were. And I think we all need to reflect and see the things that have influenced us and maybe work on them, head on, or at least get some help. But I say this because I love my mom and I have so much respect. But I've come to this point in my life where the more love and respect I show her, the more abuse and ugly things she says about me and my life. It's like the more I share my life with her, the more judgment she places on me and what she thinks I need to be doing with my life. And she'll voice these insecurities and worries to me. Meanwhile, I'm actually fulfilling those things in my life, in my own time. So it's really tough because I feel like I've never been validated in a sustainable, healthy way by my own mother in my entire life. But in her mind, she just thinks that she's perfect, and is so angry at the fact that we don't have a good relationship. So the other day I tried to talk to her about it, but she kind of baited me into talking to her about it. I had to resolve in myself, like, okay, my mom wants to have a deep conversation with me. And when I hear that, I'm always down to talk about some stuff, but she was drinking, and inevitably it turned into a fight, the conversation, where she basically said that I've only hurt her by doing the things that I've done in my life, which are nothing more than like what one thing we argued about was I changed my major and told her afterwards. Like, meanwhile, like, she knew the things I was into, but had this concept in her head that like she had this concept in her head that like I needed to be what she wanted me to be, like a computer scientist. And I had told her many times that I wasn't super interested in that because of I learned more about what it would take to become one, and found film and music and other things. And she's just like, no, you got to get money, da 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 da. You know how it goes. But for most of my childhood, especially after my parents separated when I was a teenager, I looked to my mom as my main caregiver. I lived with her. She took care of us. She invested in my college, education, and da 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 da. All the physical needs were met. Like that's what she does. But there's this whole emotional component that's been missing for my entire life. And all these years I've been beating myself up. Like, why do I feel like I can't talk to my mom about anything? Why does she make everything about her? Why does she get so angry about things that don't matter and takes it all out on me? Why can't she stop talking about my father? Why does she lay hands on me when she gets mad about little things like not cleaning the dishes when I used to live with her, or rent, or whatever? And why does she trying so hard to control me? And in my mind, I blame myself for all of the issues she was having. And I tried to work on myself day in and day out to be the best son I could be, and all these other things. And like, fast forward to this Christmas, I bought her a new $1,000 TV and set it up for her and all these things. But all she really told everybody in her circle was that she got a TV. It was never like, man, my son has really worked hard and like, takes care of me and in the best way he can. It's like everything with her is a take. So I felt like as a child and as a young adult, I bared this like weight that my mom is perfect and this is how it has to be. And like, that's it. It's like your mom deserves all the respect that she's demanding of you, despite not giving any of it to you. And I realized that after reading the Tao, that I was overesteeming my own mother. And we all do it. It's natural. Like, our parents raise us, and we look up to them, like literally and emotionally. But really what I've been doing was falling for simple narcissistic manipulation tactics my entire life. And no one, and the thing about mental health in the Black community is like, most of us don't, like, most of the old school don't even believe in it. So there's no resources. And most people will refer to her, on any circumstance. Like, most of her friends are her friends, but no one really is there to see how conversations go in the house, So I felt like my trauma and pain was private, and I didn't really have a way to talk about it. And I felt powerless, man. But fast forward to 2021 and 2022, I've decided to take distance from that relationship. Like I have to take distance from that relationship because I was powerless. I couldn't develop the respect for myself to say like, "Mom, you're being really ugly right now." Like I don't need to listen to you scream at me about something that has nothing to do with me as if it was my fault. Like that's something a child does to their parent, not the other way around, you know? And only now do I feel like I'm taking power back as I get older and get my finances together and start looking at life in a more artistic, creative sense rather than a vocational, work based, goal faceted way, you know? It's not about what I do because in my mind, my mom is thinking that I'm a possession of hers. I'm an extension of hers. Like right here, like if you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. My mom has been trying to steal my happiness my whole life, and my sister as well. My sister had to completely derail her life plans during the pandemic, and my mom gave her so much dookie about it, like to the point where she's still like healing and has to go to therapy to heal about it. People will steal things from you if you give it to them and let them do that, and you can't overvalue the things you have because people who want it will take it, and people who can take it will take it. Like a strong person, as I get older, a strong person has things and seeks these things in life, but understands that they don't really matter because you're giving these objects power. Like it's easy to look up to our idols or our bosses or our other friends who are on another level or the greats of the past of any walk of life and comparison and all that stuff. But what you're doing is you're giving that idea of that person, because what you think of a person is not ever gonna be who another person really is. All you're doing is giving that image in your mind power over you, which is literally just your mind taking power over itself in a negative feedback loop, right? Like your mind is eating itself essentially. And it's taken me my whole 20s to figure that out. And I wish somebody in my life told me that sooner so I didn't have to like go through all this BS with my mom. So things have come to a head, and I've decided that I have to walk away from this relationship as much as I can, you know. And when the holidays come and if I decide to share my space and time, I have to put up a strong wall because my whole life I've looked up to my mom, thinking that she was the archetype of a person and that she knew best. But looking back, I was foolish. She didn't know nothing about what I wanted to do. She barely even talks about her feelings to me unless it's about her, you know. So I just have to approach that relationship like, you know, just give her what she wants, you know, but in not not in a not in a direct way. Like if she just wants to talk, I'm gonna just listen. She doesn't have to know anything about my life, you know. And I think it's better that way. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. Like literally, fuck it. That's what this is trying to say. Fuck it. Your problems will come and they will go, and people will put you down and people will lift you up. None of that shit matters, man. None of that shit matters. Because there's a hole in all of us. when we're raised by other people, a whole is created. Our parents, a lot of times, are building our life from a fundamental perspective, and it's hard to know what's really in the core of a person when they're a child. And it's up to you to figure out what you want to put in your heart. You know what I mean? The master is a person who recognizes that they're empty and chooses to fill themselves up with the right stuff. You know what I mean? The right people. And there's an immense amount of unlearning in life. It's like almost like life is about losing all learning, giving up all knowledge, because knowledge is not even really helpful from a zoomed out perspective. You know, there's too much to know in life, and it's better to not know anything at all, in my opinion. And it's you get stronger because of that, because the waves of the world don't affect you in such a visceral, direct way anymore. It's like you can ride the waves but not sink and not drown. You know, you have a board to surf. You know, the master helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire. Like like you can't, I don't want to say you can't, but I want to get to a place in my life where I don't need to fix my mother's relationship with me. There's really nothing I can do. She has her own demons that she's built up over her whole life, and she needs to figure it out. It's like she wouldn't even listen to me, no way. Like anytime I've tried, her narcissistic tendencies put up these strong barriers, and the closer I get to them, the more hurtful things get said to me. And then I get blamed for the hurtful things that get said to me when I'm playing it cool and just pointing out like objective facts about what's going on. You know, especially with like her habits and stuff, and the drinking, and it's tough. But I am trying to remove the desire of trying to fix things in my life. And like it's easier with the little things, and I've come a long way. But when it comes to your relationship with your parents or significant others, we only make it as hard as we make it. You know, you can cut somebody out of your life in an instant, you know, and you don't need to feel fear about that, because God has his own way of teaching us the lessons that we need to know. And I'm not God. I'm just a witness to this reality. Even if she's my mother, she is still her own person. She is still her own person, and is responsible for herself. In my mind, by taking care of myself, I'm taking the responsibility off her. And what's going on in her mind is what's going on in her mind, you know? That confuses her, like, and right here, and creates confusion in those who think that they know, you know? So that's why I think my mother gets so angry with me, is because she's realizing that I'm doing my own thing, and she doesn't have to literally know what is going on in my life. I don't have to tell her, like, and that's my space. And it tears her up, because she thinks that like she's done so many things for me that deserve literally like feet head, hands on the floor, bowing down respect. And like, it's like I have that for my mother because I wouldn't be here without her. But anytime she comes at me weird and I say something that is like, Mom, that wasn't cool, she thinks that that doesn't, my respect goes to whatever. And I'm realizing that that's her problem, because as she's getting older and her health is depreciating, she's learning that she doesn't have control and she doesn't know anything. And it twists her mind in the craziest way. I don't need to be a part of that anymore, and you don't either. If y'all have any experience with alcoholism in your family, or people with severe mental issues that has caused trauma to you, your siblings, or whatever, you don't have to deal with it because you have your own life and you don't owe anybody anything, not even your mother. I choose to give my mother respect and take care of her when I can, but I don't owe her anything. And that's a tough pill to swallow, because I feel like our universe, like our world is all about like showing respect to your creator. It's like my creator is the same as her creator. My mom and my dad, it's easy to make a baby. God made it easy for us to make babies. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't be here without my parents, but I'm here too. I'm here too. And I deserve to have my needs met in this world. But also, I know that to get them met is to not have them at all. And when I walk away from everything, things improve, you know? So that's why at the end, Lao Tzu's like, practice not doing, you know? And everything will fall into place. You just take a deep breath and you like, just let it all go, man. Shit just works out. It just works out. It's crazy. And some people will say like, no, it doesn't. Bad things happen. Da 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 da. It's like, yeah, bad things happen all the time. That's life. I don't think that bad things are bad. It's all relative. Like going back to the first line, it's like, or to the first poem, it's all relative. How do I know if a bad thing is making room for a good thing, quote unquote? Or how do I know if this good thing is really something really sinister? Like, for example, I keep using my mom because this is kind of hot in my mind right now, but like think about like, just because my mom is, say like she'll buy me Christmas gifts every year, she's like trying to buy her way into my life to say that she cares. But then when it comes to the emotional work that comes from the other 364 and a quarter days of a year, she's not present for it. She's just angry, trying to tell me what to do, when she's literally an alcoholic, smokes cigarettes all day, and just talks on the phone all day and doesn't do anything, gained so much weight over the years. It's like, Mom, what kind of role model are you? What makes you think that you know how to live life better than me? Just because you've went through 30 years of trauma does not mean that you know more about life than me or anyone. And that's the respect that, you know, real people give to other real people, because they see, it's like we're all hurting, you know? And my mother could never take responsibility on how she's hurt us, because in her mind, she's just doing her Bible given duty of serving her kids, which had a little cut there because the goddamn camera stopped recording. But you feel me? It's I'm learning to, one, like see what not to do as an adult, which is important. And I'm learning to not overesteem the people in my life. And another thing is like my mom was so hurt by the divorce in my family, and it was personal, and I get it. My dad wasn't perfect, but my mother made me hate my dad as if he was the reason why everything just fell apart and da 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 da. And he wasn't perfect. He made some sloppy calls, I gotta say, but I am only just learning from him as I begin to build a relationship with him and learn the other side of the story, how trapped he felt in that relationship. So if looking back, if I were him, I maybe would have did things a little different, but I don't think I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I would still get to the same end place that he got to with his exit plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get why he walked away from that relationship with my mother. And I didn't realize how powerful and how strong he was to do that, because mom was such a toxic person and has always been that. And my mom is just never really like settled that in herself because she thinks that she's perfect and she deserves love and everything. But she doesn't know how to give love. She really only knows how to receive. And that's crazy to me. So be careful the power you give your parents in life. And I'm not trying to say that to like young folks, like, oh yeah, fuck your mom, fuck your dad, don't ever listen to them. No, like, we all have different ranges of parents, like, but never think that they weren't you at some point and that they deserve more or less than you can give, you know? That's their problem if they feel that way. And especially families of color, I know there's a lot of pressure to succeed and achieve, and some people can be very possessive of that with their kids. Don't let that get to you, man. You're not a possession, you know? Because, again, right here, man, if you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal, your parents included, man. And I mean, I don't even want to get into bad bosses or power like relationships, as in like bosses, teachers, whatever. It's all the same. But there's something particularly deep about the relationships that we have with our parents. And I think if for me, and this is me speaking, if one can truly let go and grapple with their relationship with their parents and take their own identity away from that, from childhood, I think that's probably the root of one's power, man. I think it might not, because some of us weren't blessed to have parents, but I still think that a person without a parent can still find identity in themselves, We don't need anyone else to find out who we are. And once we find out who we are, we can't let anybody take that away from us. It's like they couldn't, unless we give it to them. And in my mind, tricking somebody is the same as stealing, So don't overvalue possessions in life, your identity included. But understand that your identity can't be taken. It's not something that can be taken. It's something that you are, but it's not. It can't be taken away from you. So don't define it against someone else's projections onto you. It's sad because I think a lot of us are walking around with a lot of trauma with our families. And a lot of us don't really have a person to talk to about it, or another family member to confide in. And again, like if you come up in a household of color, it can be really tough, given the way the world is. But it doesn't even matter though. It's all people have tough. People from anywhere can have a tough life in childhood. It's not about what color you are. But you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. So in a like again, in an effort to recondition myself, I tell myself it's okay to let my mom heal on her own. The universe has a goofy way of working itself out. She'll probably never see this video because she doesn't care what I do. She just wants me to work for Tyler Perry, move to ATL, and just make the black telenovela. You know what I'm saying? Telenegra. But it's okay because if she sees this, maybe she'll, open her heart. Because me talking to her don't work. But in an effort to recondition myself, I tell myself it's okay. Like you don't need to hold on to anybody in this life, man. There's so much energy within if you can learn to sit with yourself and be bored with yourself and be okay being bored. There's so many things that you can do and take energy from on an everyday basis. There's so many things you can marvel at that charge me up and like can charge you up too. It doesn't even have to be. It's like when Lao Tzu saying the master weakens one's ambition, he's not saying like, again, he's not saying like you don't want to do anything in life. He's not saying like don't aspire to be anything. He's saying don't be attached to the outcome. Don't try to heal. Don't try to succeed. Live. Success comes and goes. Like it's a thing that happens. All you can do is live and follow the things that attract you. You know what I mean? Just because I haven't made millions on video and music doesn't mean I haven't done amazing, beautiful things in my life. Like I've traveled the world, been to so many countries before COVID came and messed all that up. Been all over the United States doing video stuff and music stuff, honestly. And it's like, I would have never done any of that if I listened to my mom when she said, go be a computer scientist like you told me you were gonna be when you were 15. Like, what the fuck does a 15-year-old really know about anything? And I'm so happy and proud of myself that I realized at a young age that that's not what I wanted to do. Not saying that I wouldn't be interested, but I have my whole life to learn how to do that stuff again, if I really want to. But it's not even about that. It's about experiencing things and seeing the world for what it is, on my terms, not my parents' terms. And the same goes for you or anyone else who wields control over you. You know what I mean? And same thing with dating for me, which is the tough one. It's like I've never gotten that validation. I've never dated anyone more than like a year or something because I feel like I keep meeting these people that are like my mother. And like I will meet people that are different, but they won't tickle my fancy right, or I'll sabotage or myself or whatever. But then the people who I find are in a relation who want to stay with me are the people that are the meanest, most narcissistic, frankly, damaged, troubled people. As beautiful as they may be, it all comes out eventually, And that's why I've taken my oath of celibacy until I like find somebody that's worthy of me breaking that, for like. And I don't do that for like Like I don't do it in the name of the Christian God. Like it's a stepping away from sex, dating, honestly, the opposite sex completely, because so much of my trauma has been built up that have a hard time treating people the way I want to treat them. There's like an angry wolf on the inside and a good wolf on the inside, and the angry wolf wants to be heard and like understood about all the stuff that person has gone through, but that's not who I want to be. I want to be whole, loving, full of life, beautiful inside and out. You know what I mean? And I want to attract somebody that does the same thing, and not like I have been doing in the past, which was screaming out to women for help, validation, whatever. you know I need someone that loves freely. You know what I mean? So I keep it all in. You know, not even any like what I'm saying, self time. I don't touch myself. I don't. I'm just locked down. I may as well be wearing a chastity belt. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing, kind of going on a tangent from this. Like, I think like dating, relationships, sex, parenthood, it's all connected. And I'm so grateful that I've like begun to realize this. And I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I implore anybody who hasn't to meditate on that, because sex, love, parenthood, again, is childhood. All of these things are relationships and are super connected, whether we relate with our bodies, our emotions, or whatever. You want that whole picture. So you need to give up trying to paint it and just wait for it to form on its own. Not the best analogy, but like things grow in the garden. You have to let them grow, and flowers will come and go, other plants will come and go, vegetables come and go. But I'm a gardener. I'm building myself. I'm growing the beauty in myself. You know what I mean? Whether a certain flower comes or doesn't, or like my mother or like another person or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm still the gardener. I will tend to the flowers in my garden, and that's it. I'm not going to work on somebody else's. You know what I mean? So in any action, there's a non-action. There's like a point where you don't have to think about doing something. You're doing it. Lao Tzu will beat it into your head to get to that place as fast as you can. Like, use your brain when you need to, again, to get in and out of situations, to move, but get back to sitting still as fast as you can in life. You have to reach for that. You can't make any smart decisions for yourself without being in that place. And we can get lucky by moving and thinking through life, but true wisdom comes from a place of no wisdom. Knowing that there's nothing that you know, and that you're living life in the present moment, rolling with the punches, The master helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think they know. You know? You don't know. I don't know. So I'm grateful for the trouble and the tribulations and the lectures and the trauma, because I feel like it's made me strong. I'm independent now. And now I realize my power. So going forward with my life, I will never treat my kids the way I was treated. I was afforded a good life despite my mom's BS, despite my father's BS. But there's still work that one has to do on themselves. So do the work, Get rid of all preconceived notions. Look up to no one. Have no idols. If anything, you're your own idol, but not. I don't want to get like. I don't want to say. I don't want to come off like that's like that's kind of narcissistic. You don't. You're not. You're not the one, but your life really does center around you. And there's the narcissist, and then there's the master. Like the narcissist believes that they're in the middle of the world and the world is spinning around them. The master knows that they're in the middle of the world, but they're spinning too. And it's kind of like if you're spinning and everything's spinning, you're standing still. It looks like you're standing still. You know what I mean? Like if you're spinning and something else is spinning the same speed, y'all are temporally locked. Y'all are essentially standing still. You know what I mean? The master recognizes that everything is spinning and there is a center which things spin upon, and that's your consciousness, which is you. And like I said, like you're still in that moment with the world, and things will come and go. But when things line up, that's when you, I don't know. That's the knowledge, whatever nugget that is, like that, man, I don't know. I felt like in my mind there was something that connected, but let me know if y'all vibe with that on some deeper, think about, just meditate on what I said. But yeah, this poem couldn't have been more on time for me, so I appreciate y'all listening as always. But hey, I hope y'all, I don't know, heal. I hope y'all stop overvaluing your relationships with other people, be it mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, non-binary individual, police officers, or like authority figures, the system, America, whatever country you live in, government, the world even. It's like hold no idols. We're all ourselves, and we're all folding on top of ourselves consciously. It's like no one is better than anyone else. Don't compare. Just literally be yourself and fight that demon every single day. It tries to tell you that you need to abide by anybody else's standards for living, and honestly standards for yourself. Passively, actively, however those insecurities come into your mind, if you have them, fight that demon every single goddamn day, because it's human nature. He's gonna come, the mind is gonna come, but you gotta let go. Even the master knows that demon comes every day, but the master has the sword. The master is equipped. The master is ready. The master knows it's coming. Therefore, they never lose because they're always a step ahead, They're always a step ahead of themselves. Okay. All right. So I'm going to read this one more time for y'all, and then I'm going to wrap it up and peace out, because that salmon got me feeling good, and I'm trying to go to sleep after this. Hey. Well, anyway. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. Practice not doing, and all things will fall into place.